Once again, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I have the absolute pleasure, in fact, the honor of introducing to you a concept that I think is so powerful. It is so timely. It is so right. But the real question is, what do you think about it? We're going to find out soon. We're here to talk about a company called Lev AI, that stands for Leveraging Artificial Intelligence. Before we go further, I'd like for us to stop for a moment and take a quick walk down memory lane. I'd like you to think back, those of you who are generationally similar to me, think back to when you saw the first Apple Macintosh sitting on someone's desk, or you saw the first person sticking a 3.5-inch floppy with a big old soft floppies into a Kpro computer, or the very first Microsoft entree. Think back to that day and then ask yourself this question, really and truly. Did you have a choice to fully and completely adopt computerization, or could you have opted to stay in the handheld calculator world and still have survived and thrived in this environment? My belief is that no, that was a change that was thrust upon us. We could leverage it and benefit from it, either as a result of simply utilizing that technology in our various other enterprises, or we could put a 10 or a 20 or a 10,000 times multiplier on it by becoming a conduit to other people's use of a product whose ultimate global adoption was inevitable. How did you do it? I didn't choose to leverage that moment in time, and that was a mistake. Not very long thereafter, the entire world connected itself. How? With the World Wide Web, the internet. When that happened, did you get to choose? Or was it in fact thrust upon you? I think that it'd be really, really hard for most of us to operate in our current business world and our personal lives if we didn't utilize the internet. So my thought is that we didn't choose; it was required of us to adopt or to just get left behind. Once again, did we simply use it for our own personal purposes, or did we leverage the onset of the internet by becoming a primary proponent of it and delivering the message to other people, becoming a conduit to other people's use of that product? We find ourselves at a similar moment right now. We're going to talk today about leveraging artificial intelligence, but please understand this is a transformation that has begun and will continue, and it is simply not our choice of whether we adopt. The choice is, do we adopt for utilization of our various projects that we're currently involved in? Do we simply use, or do we become a catalyst in causing that which is destined to occur more quickly? And what is that which is destined? As surely as the entire world became computerized, as sure as the entire world became an online global community, the entire world will be utilizing artificial intelligence. The simple question is, will you simply be a user, or will you be one who causes the use of other people, who provokes that behavior and therefore generates royalties? Easy question. Easy question. The answer for each of us to determine what's right. It is important to note that Lev AI, leveraging artificial intelligence, is in fact a brand new company. In fact, our first day of actually conducting business and producing revenue and results for people will come up over the course of the next handful of days, sometime in very early September. But unique to the situation, we do not suffer the risks that are typically a part and parcel of that positioning at the absolute genesis. And why? Simply because we live under the umbrella of the Terry LaCour ecosystem, one of the finest, most respected operators in the direct selling industry. He owns successful companies. He knows how to launch them, grow them, sustain them, and become bigger and bigger. He knows how to build great organizations. Terry he provides the umbrella under which we live. We operate in the Terry LaCour ecosystem that gives us the opportunity to be at the absolute genesis, the foundation, the instigator of future growth, and yet not suffer the risks that are typically a part and parcel of that because of his ownership and because of his guiding hand. The future is in your hands. The future is in my hands. It's in our hands, because we now deliver to the world accessible artificial intelligence. And there on the picture, you see my son, Blake, and we welcome you to this company. We also welcome Blake. And of course, this is a special moment for me. Blake is my son. I, of course, couldn't make that hire. I'm not Terry LaCour. I don't own the company. I am, as you can be, I am a promoter of the product, but I don't own the company. I don't have a management role or an ownership position. So I didn't make this choice. I'm thrilled the choice was made. Blake is an attorney. He went to Syracuse Law School. He grew up in the home of a professional network marketer. And so I could say that it's cooked into his DNA. It's in his blood. He knows it and he understands it at a different level than almost anyone could. He realized he didn't want to be a litigating attorney, and so he became general counsel for a successful direct selling company called Monavi. Was then reassigned. He moved to Israel and he ran the Israeli operation of Monavi for a period of time, a year and a half, I believe. Then, being fluent in both Brazilian and Portuguese, was retasked, moved to Portugal, where he ran the European operation for Monavi, ultimately running Europe, Latin America, North America at a time when sales were in excess of $500 million in those markets. Blake's next success, he became the CEO of a company called Medical Marijuana Incorporated, as the beginning of the end of prohibition of cannabis was largely driven and provoked by that company. He started a successful direct selling company in that environment called Canaway. Blake just completed a non-compete agreement, makes himself eligible to guide the next company to the next success. And you know what? This is not just the next. This is not just the next success. This is something different and bigger than anything we've ever seen. How and why? When I started talking about this concept, and by the way, I don't like the way these slides are sharing. I'm going to redo this and cause it to share a little better than that. Hold on here. Now, I'm going to hope that that works better. Yes, it does. Great. When I started talking about AI, to my great surprise, that conversation was ongoing. I didn't realize it. But what I discovered very quickly was that everyone was already talking about artificial intelligence. They just weren't talking to me about it. And when I joined the conversation, I found out that the conversations weren't just being had around water coolers, they're being had in the most powerful boardrooms in the world. Here we have Sundar Pichai, who is the CEO of Google, one of the most powerful men in the world of tech and business. And he recently stated that AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. AI is more profound than the advent of computerization. AI is more profound than the advent of the internet. AI is more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. This, according to one of the most brilliant men in the entire tech world. It's important that we realize this is not simply an extension of our career, whatever our career has been. This is not the simple introduction of some small new technology that will impact a few. No, this will impact everyone. To try to once again put it in proper framing, think of the time when no one was computerized and now everyone is. Think of the time when no one was online, now everyone is. Think of a time when now a precious tiny segment of society has adopted, embraced, and understands AI. However, that which they understand is confusing, convoluted, it is not easy to access. And so now today, recognizing that the most profound thing that has probably ever occurred, according to Sundar Pichai, the advent of the widespread acceptance of a technology destined to literally sweep over the world. It has started. It's right now. And each of us have the opportunity. We get to choose. Will we simply utilize that technology in our own business purposes, or will we, in fact, become a catalyst in causing that which was destined to occur just a little bit more quickly? Consider this, according to the head of DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, the difference here with AI is it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and maybe 10 times faster. And maybe 10 times faster. Folks, I am not a hypey individual. Far from it. I nevertheless show you this. Like sands through the hourglass, there go the days of our lives. I heard that deep booming voice each time I walked into my grandmother's home as a child, it seemed. In a very real way, folks, like sands through the hourglass, there go the grains of sand of opportunity when you get to be the introductory factor of leverage AI, showing people how to put into practical application the technology, which, according to this brilliant owner, a brilliant guide of DeepMind, the difference here with AI, it's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution and maybe 10 times faster. I encourage you, I encourage myself, and let you listen. I encourage myself, put an exclamation point on it. Randy, don't let too many of the grains of sand of opportunity slip from the top of the glass to the bottom. Don't let it be that you simply use the technology as you did with computerization. Don't let it be that you simply use the technology as you did with the advent of the online movement across the world. Let it be that you become a catalyst in causing that which is destined to occur a day or two more quickly, and then the bell rings. My life experience has proven that to me conclusively over the course of 3 or 4 very successful projects. AI shouldn't be feared, far from it. It should be celebrated. It should be rejoiced. It should be embraced. Why? Because so many people will have access to successes that up until now have escaped their grasp simply because their personality, their particular skill set isn't what was sought at that moment. Right now is a moment of change. We can each develop, gather the knowledge, and develop the skill set that is most sought after. Today, 61% of marketers use AI. That's going to be 100. And folks, that's of the professional marketers. When we go to the normal population, you're talking about between 5 and 7%. It's a process that has started, but a process that has not yet reached acceleration. A 30%, 38% increase in sales productivity among those who utilize. That's because they don't know how to utilize. That's going to have a 10 times that result on it. And when you learn how to bring things into a one-stop shop instead of the convoluted, confusing hodgepodge mix of applications one must acquire today to try to harness the values of artificial intelligence, it will take almost no time for people to see with clarity what the possibilities are that we now introduce. 80% of entrepreneurs, those who use, say it gives them a competitive advantage. If the others are not saying that, they've not learned how to use, or they have not yet learned how to leverage artificial intelligence. They are looking at it, they are wondering, they're confused about it, they might be frightened of it, but they've certainly not learned how to leverage it, or the numbers would be dramatically different than what you just saw. Lev AI makes it simple for entrepreneurs to launch, market, and grow businesses. Well, why do I have such a joy filled countenance? It's because they're singing my song. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've spent my life launching, marketing, and growing businesses. And now, my gosh, I look with fascination. I'm almost giddy as I contemplate and consider the efficiencies now at hand. No expensive CMO, agency, or complicated tech skills required. The door is open for you, folks. The door is open for you if you choose to walk through it. And what I found over the course of my life and career is that whenever we focus on a problem, that problem will get bigger and bigger and bigger, ultimately blotting out all else. It's all we will see. And frankly, that's what's occurring right now for most of the early adopters of artificial intelligence, because what they see is the convoluted and confused mess of I have to have one application for my CRM. I have to have one application to grow my social media presence. I need an application to manage my website. I need an application for, and on it goes. Multiple applications, multiple monthly subscriptions, complete confusion, and no integration, no communication between those apps to make it a seamless process. Social entrepreneurs face a complex, costly, and fragmented arena. Tech intimidation and burnout is rampant. And there is no consistent, comprehensive, and readily replicatable process to improve the flow of candidates to the entrepreneur and to retain the candidate once it is here. The solution is Lev AI. There are 388 million small businesses in the world, 388 million small entrepreneurs. You know what? They all want, all of them. They all want access to more buyers of their product or users of their service or participants in their team. That's what they all want. The biggest problem facing all of these entrepreneurs is knowing how to have a steady, never-ending flow of new potential and actual participants, users, buyers, consumers. This is not something I think, it is something that I know. The single most difficult skill most entrepreneurs face if they are small business owners is trying to grow that candidate list such that they don't get stuck when they've run out of those handful of people they've done business with historically. This solution, you'll all see it operating very quickly, makes building and maintaining a candidate list far easier for those who've developed that skill, possible for those who have not through the utilization of this technology. Creates customer confidence about what to say to each prospect, customer, candidate throughout the engagement process. Get ready to enjoy the fascination of your own personalized GPT. Not simply asking ChatGPT to pull from the universe all of the generic information that is out there. No, the specific content that you have asked your personalized GPT to gather together, the content delivered by you individually or by the leadership that you endorse, no longer a simple generic, somewhat effective series of information, but information that is specifically targeted to your purpose. This will, of course, do much to remove barriers and make people feel stuck. And I look down there, if we want to remove the fear of failure, how do we do it? Let's help people stop failing. Let's utilize the technology that helps them identify the candidates who are looking for the product or service they offer, and then let us guide them through the content that they have said is most beneficial to them. Let us guide them through a proved and predictable pattern of activities, which results in only one possible outcome, that being the successful completion of the interaction, of the transaction. The leverage AI opportunity, the leverage AI concept, product, service, technology provides myriad solutions. Why? Because in life there are myriad problems. The first is to address the fact that most of us failed to realize as social media went from being an anomaly, it went from being a fascination, a confusion, to becoming endemic in society. Most of us did not make a conscious decision to grow our social media presence, and that was a mistake. I've lived a kind of a big life. I've been somewhat prominent in a lot of arenas, and yet I have a paltry, pathetic social media presence. That was a mistake. That's a mistake that I will not continue. In today's world, you could largely measure future results. You can largely measure future results based upon the number of people over whom you exhibit some area of positive influence. As you begin to engage the Lev AI solutions, what you'll find is literally from the first moment, as soon as you begin importing your candidates into our CRM, and by the way, I frequently talk about the legitimate possibility of the utilization of this technology having a net negative cost. A net negative cost, meaning that it costs you less than nothing to use it. Why? Because if you're already using CRM, customer relationship management software, which most businesses are, you're spending three, four, five, six, seven, or $800 for simply something that is inclusive in our product. And you're paying three, four, five, six, $700, much more than anything that we offer, paying a lot more money, and it provides insufficient services. You see, as soon as you do a simple screenshot import into the Lev AI CRM, immediately a process will begin where each of those candidates are scanned by your own AI tools. Their entire social media presence is reviewed. You get to know their hot points, and believe it or not, your personalized GPT will craft, it'll create the script and tell you when to send it, how to follow up, and when. Click, 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 click. Cicero said so many years ago, the skill to do comes from the doing. The question then is, why don't more do that which has been proven to work, such that they can develop the skill, gather new self-awareness, gather new self-confidence, more poise, and actually become a magnet to others? That's what happens with the proper self-esteem and poise. Why don't more act so that is the result? It is because they're frozen behind the wall of fear that is so frequently evident and present when one makes the transition from employment, where one is reactive, to entrepreneurship, where one is proactive. We'll talk about that more. I remember about a few weeks ago, I had my first interaction, my first face-to-face with one of the developers of Lev AI, and he asked me if I would like to build a website. Yeah, I can't think of anything I'd rather do. I'd love to build a website, but my technical knowledge is limited to turning on a phone. And he simply swung his laptop over in front of me and pointed at the app and said, "Click on this one, Randy, and then follow the prompts." 6 or 7 clicks later, I wish I'd counted, no more than 50 words of type, and I had a fully published website on the web. It was there. This was not simply a self-replicating site. It is typical to a direct selling company. No, this is a personality-driven, a process-driven, an event-driven website that is unique to you. You can add a shopping cart to it. Call a tech firm, ask them to make you a website. You can do the same thing in less than 10 minutes, and there'd be no added cost. That's why I describe the fact that for many, the net cost of utilization of the product will be less than zero because you're eliminating other costs. Many years ago, one of the gifts that I received in my life, not just in my business, but in my life, one of the gifts that I received was when a gentleman named Nathan Rex taught me that there was no luck and no guesswork. He said, "Randy, there's a proved and predictable pattern of activities. If we do A, we'll get B. If we do C, we'll get D. And if we don't, we don't." And I have discovered over the course of my career that he was exactly correct. And that's true in most forms of business. He was exactly correct. The question is, why don't most people do it? And it's because of those fears that I described. When we are an employee, I once worked at Merrill Lynch, and they told me what time I could come to work and what time I could go home. They told me the number of contacts I had to make every day. They told me which reports I had to file and when. I was told everything that I needed to do, and I reacted to it. That was easier than when I became an entrepreneur and I had to be proactive instead of being reactive. I contemplate and I consider how tremendously beneficial it would have been to me to have the service we now provide to you, that tells you, reminds you, your personalized chat GPT, your personalized AI, your personalized digital twin, reminding you of yesterday's new member orientation, reminding you of the assignments given, sending you a text. Here's assignment 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have you completed it? If not, click here and do so. I, your coach, your mentor, I receive that. And if I don't, then my twin says, hey, Randy, follow up with your new member A. He or she has not taken those first steps. Click, click, click. And as a result of being guided specifically into the behaviors required for success, they're automated, created by my AI tools. Now I begin to experience the positive results. The reward cascade becomes mine. The skill to do comes from the doing because I was empowered by the tool. Because I needed no longer to be stuck behind the fear of failure and lack of consistent information, because I was providing information people want. Now the skill to do comes from the doing. And as a result, my confidence poise goes up, and suddenly others are attracted to me. Folks, this is a process that results in the development of humans who can still use AI, when in many situations it will be a permanent solution. But in an elevator, when someone makes a comment, the last thing I want to do is check my screen and see what my chat GPT had to say. It is about gathering knowledge, developing skills, and learning how to leverage AI, and learning how to leverage those skills at certain moments when the AI application would not be appropriate, i.e. the elevator. A monthly lead program. Remember this discussion of having people join me who need to transition from being reactive to proactive. And I contemplate and consider how much easier that would be if they were able to make the first contacts to people who had requested the contact. How much easier is it if I have a report that says, I want to receive information. I understand you have information about the following project and opportunity. Can you help? See, is it not easy to respond to that request, or certainly a whole lot easier than being proactive? Hi, I have a product or service that I think might fit you. Your skills, your background seem to fit. Can we talk? You see, in one case, I get to react to one's request. In the other case, I have to be proactive in creating it. And so, what the monthly lead program does, and by the way, I've been hesitant over my whole career about leads, because if people pay for them and they're not great, they get resentful. But what if there is no add cost? What is just a part of the service that one gets? Now you see, this gives the person a middle ground, a middle point, a stepping stone between being reactive and proactive with the lead program. Absolutely incredible possibilities. Everything I've talked about up until now, in my estimation, is more than enough to grow a business that is epic in nature, style, substance. But there is more. Every plan, I've alluded to this, every plan includes your own AI twin, a digital replacement of you. And I assure you that when you see your virtual twin, your digital replacement, if you are standing here on a video and the twin is here, you will not be able to ascertain the difference, even though you are the subject of that digital cloning. When the twin starts to speak, if the twin is speaking your language, you won't know if it's the twin or if it's you. But the very moment the twin starts to speak Chinese, if you don't speak Chinese, that's when you'll know, oh, that one is the twin. That's how good it is. Give it any script or let your personalized chat GPT create it, and your AI twin can speak, believe it or not, in 150 languages fluently. Now, we're a few days away from launch. I don't know the number of days. I can tell you that the launch window opens on September 1st and that it will close in September. This company will be live in September. Do I know the day yet? No, I don't. My strong belief is it will be earlier in the month than later, maybe at the very start of the month. We'll see. It is possible, and I believe likely, that there will be 3 plans, not 2. Right now, let's review the 2 that we know exist. I cannot give you final pricing, but I can tell you the basic plan is in the neighborhood of $50. The pro plan is between $100 and $150. There will be nothing we offer that is more than $150. A rapid flow of new member applications is so eminently possible. A product and service you could not begin to replace for less money somewhere else. A unique technology and a market basket of services brought together for the first time in a one-stop shop. Your own video twin, your likeness, your voice, speaking your script flawlessly in 150 plus languages. And you can even use your personalized GPT to create the script. Personalized AI writing assistant to do what? To create your posts, which provoke the likes, which then lead the AI twin to describe to you what your next step is. Business profiles. If you have a life insurance agency and you're also building teams in a network marketing company, 2 different kinds of messages, 2 different profiles. AI-powered social growth and engagement. Remember, it was a mistake for me and maybe for many of you to not consciously decide to grow our future influence by being engaged in a process which would result in us having 1 million followers one day. Now, that's a big number. Is it going to get hit if you don't make a decision and decide to act upon it? No, it won't. But if you do decide, it can start happening literally the day we go live. And as I said, the window opens in a couple of weeks. A CRM with screenshot import, which will then begin immediately doing a social media scan of each person in your existing contact list and teach you what their hot buttons are, how and when to engage, and how to follow that process. An instant website builder, absolutely remarkable, enhanced CRM with professional lead funnels linked to your site, and over 2 billion searchable global profiles, so that what? So the skill has the chance to come from the doing. And now, folks, bang the gong, ring the bell, shout it from the rooftops. Don't let today go by without telling the world. Not everybody, but those who choose to push the envelope a little bit and gain meaningful, significant high ranks, you will have an interactive avatar. Notice the one talking to the computer has got a headset on, and the one on the screen does not. These are not the same people. One is a virtual twin of an upline leader and actually is able to have interactive conversations. The ability for those who have been content providers over the course of your history, the course of your lives, to suddenly have global reach, to have all of the content that you have developed, all of the knowledge you've gathered available in every language in the world, literally, as though you, the leader, is in the hip pocket of every team member, starting almost immediately. This, again, is not an extension of our careers, is not a continuation of what we have done. This is an unmatched breakthrough in my life, an unmatched value. At least $300, and I believe up to $800 will be saved in no longer needing to utilize outdated technologies trying to bring this hodgepodge together. The market opportunity, folks, think back to 1970s. How many people were then in network marketing? How many are now? A few more, not a lot more. How many people use computers now that didn't use them then? How about a few billion? How many people are online now that weren't then? That's what it's like, folks. We're breaking out of this tiny little world of those who have embraced the direct selling industry. We're breaking into the entire economy, all of it. The transformation will be as occurred when the entire world became computerized and when the entire world became an online community. That is the precipice at which we stand. Now, in order to fund this, to make it work, we need to pay people to deliver the message. So understand you can use this purely as a product or service to grow your existing business, as I used computerization when it first came out, as I used online resources when they came out, or you can make the bigger decision, use it to grow your existing businesses and also become a conduit to other people's use and earn royalties. Now, at this point in time, I don't think it's constructive and the best use of time to have a detailed comp discussion. That needs to be another time, but I want to tell you concepts. First, this is a network marketing, this is a compensation plan, which does not have the typical network marketing smoke and mirrors of here's the dollar value and here's the amount that goes into the commission plan. $1,000 creating 700 points on which you get paid. No, a dollar in goes into the comp plan. Lucrative customer acquisition and partner acquisition bonuses. 50% of the first month's revenue is what comes to you. Acquisition bonuses are important. Why? Because that is what provokes the next member. That next member can use the product. Hopefully, the next member sees the entire vision and likewise becomes a conduit to someone else's use of the product. Notice once again, there is no artificial dilution from cash to PV or CV. The company understands that we will here have access to millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of potential users of the service who are not interested in growing businesses in depth. All such people, you just hold them on your front line and you'll have forever a 20% commission on all personally enrolled members, so long as your subscription is active, and it's going to be active for a long time as soon as they begin using. Then a 8th-generation unilevel, that 20% on Gen 1, then simple qualifications leading to an 8-level unilevel payout, 4% of fully compressed, dynamically compressed volume through those 8 levels. And remember that 4% is measured against cash. It is not measured against PV or CV. I'm going to talk about the infinity bonus before we reference the leverage matching bonus. We understand that in a product so demanding, so in demand as this, volume will run fast. I mean, fast. This message was delivered for the first time 10 days ago, almost in secret. And by the time today is over, well, in fact, let's not talk about what it will be. There are now 4,500 adopters of this technology in a handful of days, all done word of mouth, almost in hiding. This volume will run fast, 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 and it is important to connect together leadership. Therefore, there is a 4-point infinity payout that will include until a top leader intersects the next leader in the structure. The leveraged matching bonus. This is critically important. When we get paid because other people are succeeding, that is the best money. This is a leveraged matching bonus, meaning it pays through 4 generations. And remember that here there is no dilution of cash to PV, and all income components are factored into the leveraged matching bonus. A person in your enrollment tree earns an acquisition bonus, you get a matching bonus. They earn a team commission, you get a matching bonus. They earn an infinity payout, you get a matching bonus. This is more lucrative by a substantial margin than anything any of you or I have ever participated in. And now my question to me, and I'll let you listen, is simply this: am I ready to lead the AI future with leveraging AI? My answer is yes, but here's the obvious statement. I have limitations. I can't do that by myself. We need to do it. This is not something a person can do. This is something a properly constructed leadership structure can and will do. If you are not yet receiving communications, please text me. My telephone number is 813-990-7651. Send me a text and I will respond with an invitation to the WhatsApp group so you will always know what is going on. Next, if you have not yet registered, if you have not yet become a pre-registrant, please, please, please notify the person who invited you here to send you the registration link and register. But then, folks, go back here. I have had some who have registered and they have recognized the magic of the day and the importance of the day, and they have pulled out the stops. I have had many who have registered and now they're just sitting and waiting. Folks, no, this is your moment to engage other people. This is the time to introduce others. When they can act, they can say yes and not have to fund this yes. This is the time. Personally enrolled now between Samantha and I, more than 80 people in 10 days. We will have 5,000 people in our group by the end of this day. That is because we chose to act, not to simply become a member. Folks, once again, this is just like the earliest days when the computerization of the world began. Did I simply say, yes, I'm going to buy a computer when it's available? Or did I say, of course, I'm going to put my order in for it right now, and I'm going to tell other people what's possible? It's what you want when you want it. I want to help you do that, whatever it is. I thank you all for being here. I remind you that we'll have this presentation again this evening at 9 o'clock Eastern. Please, please, please let it be that I help you launch a business. Enroll now if you haven't yet. Let me help you launch a business tonight. God bless you all. I appreciate you more than you know, and I will see you along the way. Bye-bye.